Yeah, I'll always be a metalhead. Nothing can take that away from me.
Right.
I mean, not jail, not people, not religion, not anything. I'll always be a metalhead, 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 all right.
You're listening to the Great Metal Debate Podcast.
Welcome back to the Great Metal Debate Podcast. Before we get into it, a reminder to like, follow, or subscribe to the show on whatever platform you found us on. And thank you so much for your support. Today we're reviewing the new release from Austrian folk black outfit Perchta, titled Muata, which is released on June 14th through Prophecy Productions. Formed in 2017, Perchta, whose name is an allusion to a mythic goddess entity from continental Germanic and Slavic mythology, has one previous studio record, Ufang. Visually, as evinced from both photos and performance videos, the band gives a dark, earthy vibe that fits well with their sound. The core of Perchta's musical identity is rooted firmly in the black and folk metal realm, but listening to Muata you'll find it sneakily melodic, and there's a menagerie of other influences that conjure medieval, extreme, epic, and atmospheric sensations for the listener, just to name a few. In the end, trying to pin a specific genre tag on these guys is a somewhat futile undertaking, but I'll certainly try to point out the richness of themes and textures the band employs as we go forward. The first track, Fom Verlanga, begins with a simple but effective eerie clean guitar, then initiating the listener with a startling array of raucous and discordant sounds. An abundance of the vocals are screamed by frontwoman Frau Perchta, delivering these in a suitably harsh black metal style, so there's plenty of cult edge to satiate the black metal elitist palate. Alongside, there's a good portion of clean, folk-esque singing. The folk influence one finds here is more evocative of the bog or forest than the tavern or wharf. The same could be said of Wies was Mansen, which also features some incredible vocal screeching. This one takes the aggression up a notch on all levels, with the drums, guitars, and dulcimer screaming alongside the singer. It is quite a potent concoction upon first visit, with the ferocity associated with black metal here in abundance, as the drums provide a pummeling performance suited to the genre, and the guitars give a surprising amount of droning grit. Despite the absence of keys or orchestrations, Perchta are able to produce plenty of atmosphere on this track as well as on several others from the album. My Diana Mi Busa has a creepy children's choral portion and an epic feel to it. The haunting keys give an extra depth to the music, something that is at times missing on the other tracks. It also features some of Frau Perchta's best clean singing, albeit still with the black metal shrieking in the background. This one has a bit more of the classic folk metal feel. The instrumental approach in places here isn't that far from what you might hear from Korpiklani. Another one of the highlights is the title track Muata, where we get 5 minutes of extremely melodic guitar riffs supported with a backdrop of triumphant-sounding dulcimer and Frau's vocals dueling between deep Germanic goth and high-pitched throaty rasp that at times tends to come across as a little silly. But this has one of my favorite melodies on the album, gloriously dissonant in its execution, and is one of the few songs to retain a semblance of the same melodic attack throughout the track. And the triple vocal overlay on the chorus is perfectly executed, with the song ending in a rapturous shriek. Hylegus Bluk is mostly spoken word with occasional cries, shrieks, and background whispers, sans other instruments except the dulcimer giving it an otherworldly feel. While on some levels the band succeeds in creating an evocative atmosphere, I'm not sure the vocals work here with the loud, aggressive voice seeming at strange contrast against the background whispers. The album's main showpiece, though, lies with the track Hey Palm, a sprawling epic that spans more than 8 minutes and begins in stunning fashion with an intro awash with flowing, sorrow-laden sounds that echo a pre-modern world before shifting midway into something considerably more gothic, before reverting back to its more primitive, unseemly notes to close out the song. Whereas the disparity in vocals was ineffective in Hylegus Bluk, here it gives a flawless, dynamic presentation. Did I hit all the album songs? The nearly 8-minute-long Langtutinun Stempa begins with croaking vocals, then kicks into exquisitely dissonant riffing. While I found the individual elements of this track often compelling on their own merits, I'm not sure the entire composition totally worked. One could have rearranged the sections arbitrarily, and the effect musically would have been basically the same. In my opinion, it didn't seem to be building up to anything. One other piece in the listing is titled Ausbruch, and is basically a segue track between the songs, with strong percussion throughout and some vocal work at the beginning. A few further thoughts about the album generally. Despite Perchta having 2 guitarists, the guitar work is somewhat reserved, albeit effective when they do come to the forefront. There's some brilliant riffing and lead breaks, as well as plenty of nice acoustic resonance, beyond the aggression of other sounds provided. Typically, the bitter guitar tones echo the acrimony induced by the percussion, vocals, and other instruments, which is fine in places, but I think at times could have benefited from having a slightly warmer feel. This is a problem generally on the album, from beginning to end, the intentional lack of any warmth and color to the music, and subdues what would have otherwise been a more complete musical effort. Even with the range of noises Frau Perchta is able to elicit, indeed a few touches of color here and there would have been the perfect foil to the general acrid sound the band is going for, and would have acted to emphasize it. One thing's for certain about Muata. It's an interesting listen. It's unashamedly dry and creepy in their production. The uncanny vocal and instrumental noises have a significant presence throughout the whole album and are at times admittedly outstanding, stirring up images that are foreign and unsettling while still having an air of majesty. You have only to listen to the title track or Hepalm to know what I mean. Some places I found the music mesmerizing, and other times it left me cool and unengaged. While I really like that Perchta brought to the table a number of 7-minute or longer songs, which allowed more time to play with or repeat themes, that positive was somewhat mitigated with 2 of the 9 tracks being essentially musical interludes and not proper songs. There is a massive potential within this band, which hopefully we will see more of in the future efforts. As it stands, though, if you're responsive to extreme, ambitious, and dramatic folk black metal with plenty of unfamiliar influences that might sound out of place in the modern world, this one should be calling your name. Despite my criticisms, I can safely say that this album is one I'll be going back to for months and years to come. I'm giving Muata a rating of 7 out of 10. Not a perfect release, but one that will nonetheless be absolutely enjoyable to fans of folk or black metal. You can purchase Muata via Prophecy Productions, SPKR Media, or Bandcamp.com, and check out multiple videos from the album on YouTube.